Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up to date, we've got an automated software and service in the gaming niche. Created in May 2013, this business makes $4,855 per month in net profit, and the listing number for this site is 40705. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. Now, we've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Don.
Hello, and thanks also for having this call with me. So what we have is a semi-automated online business, and basically I have contractors who manage all the work for me, allowing me to work remotely and almost, very little hours per week on this. It's a game business that allows you to build strategy games. We sell to developers in particular.
Before we dive too deep, just for the listeners out there, we'll get to this part, but a quick summary for this business is, like I said, it was built in May 2013, has a monthly revenue of $7,246. Expenses are sitting at $2,391, and of course that net profit of $4,855 that is over a 12-month average. And with the sale of the business, it includes the domain, the site content, all the customer records, and obviously all the products, the starter kit, pro kit, the complete kit, zombie kit, and the online product documentation. With the selling, it will include the outsourcers, which is a developer, the support assistant, or an alternative outsourcer contacts, and all their marketplace accounts and listings, including the Unity Asset Store, Chupa Mobile, Game Gorillas, and Sell My App. So, with that said, can you tell us a little bit more? I know you're excited to get into it. Could you tell us a little bit more about the background of both you running and building online businesses, but also this business in particular?
Of course, I misinterpreted the background question as something about the business more so. I myself have work on online businesses. This is not my first. This is quite down the stream. I've done this for a while, and I've gotten, in a way, to want to make and want to own businesses that allow me to earn revenue in the background without having to do anything. So I build them up, and then they continue to sell either through the marketplace's accounts, which were mentioned earlier, like the Unity Asset Store, or through the website, and outsources manage everything. So I like a business to kind of run itself, and I like to collect paychecks from that. That's kind of where the idea for this site came across, was there's an opportunity I saw with making these games, making a way for developers to build city building games or strategy games, and they became popular in the store. They've been popular not only on mobile iPhone and Android devices, which people know right now, but actually for years before, when RTS devices back in computers and Windows desktop ages, when gaming was popular then. It's just transitioned to new devices. So we've built this kit in a way that you can make not only computer games for desktop, but also for mobile devices. And it's completely outsourced with also the products that are sold through the site. So everything's automated, and that's kind of the idea came across to make a business like I've made before, other businesses that are automated, that sell in a niche, and that don't really need me to kind of come back in them, that we have support assistants answering questions, developers making new products to increase the business revenue, and in a way allow me to work on additional businesses. So that actually leads into why I picked this niche, gaming, and that was just because developers were always making games like this. We're making, city building games, we're making their battle games. All of these games were being developed by all these companies simultaneously on, Android and iPhone devices, and even years before on the desktop. But they never were actually using a central system. They never were using, some sort of code. They were always making it themselves. And there was an opportunity there to actually create one of these source code kits and then sell it to, new developers, because that's what many people were doing already, but they were keeping the code to themselves. Why would you give it to your competition? So we basically became the source code that all developers are using for building their games. And we got in regular sales all the way since 2014 with our very first version, which is only city building. And now we've, gone on to the current year with having, battle strategy elements, walls, and defense structures, which is available for the next version that we have ready for the buyer to release after the sale. So I guess that leads into the next question.
Yeah, for sure. You answered quite a few of the questions there. So obviously the business is making money not by you building the games, but rather the developers come and buy these kits, these source code that they can use and manipulate that already has a lot of the work done for them. Is that correct?
Excellent. Yes, that's perfect. That's exactly how I've run the business for the most part of 2014, 2015, 2016, until we've started receiving lots of questions from people that aren't just developers anymore that are finding our kit and purchasing it. And developers purchase it first off because it's an immense time saving. You're
Right.
talking about at least hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours of savings. For, a few $100s, they can save thousands of dollars of their time. And that's a lot of reasons why developers purchase, but we have such a product that encompasses all these games that we have individuals who don't know how to make games that ask us, can we make a game for them? And we used to brush these off just because we were interested in selling the kit itself. That's kind of how I told the support assistant, like, look, just ask them to purchase our kit. Instead, we've just recently, in the past couple months, have been working with a third-party developer. So I went out and I contacted developers and asking them, would you like to do jobs for us? And we'll pay, we'll have the buyers pay you, and all you have to do is just pay us, a percentage, 30% of this. But what we told them was, don't, take 30% cut. Instead, take your budget of what you think you would charge to make this job, and then put 30% on top of it, and we're going to give that to the buyer and tell them that's the number. So we've been doing this, and it's not, the main focus of our business sales, but it's actually been adding in, a bottom line. We've gotten clients now that the developer, this company that we outsource to, handles everything. They do all the communication, all the quoting, and the support assistant that I have, kind of contacts them together. So I actually do nothing at all. We've gotten clients from $1,000 to $20,000 contracts, which the recent one paid this month for the deposit, meaning we make, up to $5,000 commission on that. So there's potential for that we've just recently taken advantage of. And I'm really excited about that, especially because the support assistant does everything for me. There's not really much we need to do. Just connect the person who wants to buy with the person who can sell, and then, figure out a price that works between the two of them.
That's a great business model, especially a awesome, very intriguing potential for the buyer. Moving into the reasons why you are selling the business, you mentioned that this business, along with your others, have been pretty much automated and passive. So why sell the business? Why not just keep it and grow it?
Well, there's an easy way to answer this. If you Google serial entrepreneur, that's what I've discovered who I am. And, I never really understood that before because I always just used to make businesses, automate them because I wanted to always make something new. Ideas are a dime a dozen, but when you have so many, you always want to make on something, build something new. I have 8 of them in the pipeline right now that are just waiting to be built, and I've been working on 2 of them recently with my new free time. So I managed to develop these startups to answer these needs, improve them if they show potential, and automate the day-to-day before moving on to the next idea. So this business is one of the companies in my portfolio with proven revenue, and it has potential, like we just discussed right now, for growth in the marketplace. Though I have a number of these businesses, and this is just one of them, I try to automate them or sell them at some point and make room for new projects. So I really enjoy making them. I am building stuff up. I'm not really an ongoing, developer.
It makes sense. Would you have any plan for the money after the sale? Are you going to put it into these new projects, or maybe take a fun vacation around Japan?
So it probably wasn't mentioned earlier in the call on the seller interview, but I'm actually located in Japan right now, and I live remotely, like these businesses have allowed me to do. I move around from country to country, and right now Tokyo is my favorite spot just because of the sushi, the trains, and the people are so nice. And it's also a great diet opportunity besides that.
Very healthy living, yeah.
But with the funds from this sale, just like the sales that I've had before, they go back into savings, and I enjoy making businesses. I live a frugal lifestyle, apart from, moderate, a place to live, a house to go back to. I don't really need the extra funds of this, but it allows me freedom, and the freedom's what I value. The ability to, have all this extra time, all this extra, not responsibility, not have to worry about another business in the background. It allows me to basically expand my portfolio. And that's why I've continued to sell businesses in the past, because otherwise I would have a lot of these things under my plate, and I don't really like that. I like the idea of just an empty, minimalist lifestyle. So that includes the businesses, and that's why I automate everything, including this business.
That makes sense. Freedom is one of the biggest things that, that's something we promote too. People that buy our businesses, so we're looking to help them get to that point if they're not already at that point as well, right? So that's awesome. Moving into the business history, when you first began this business and it first came onto the market, what was the trajectory of it? Was it pretty slow the first few weeks and months, or were you finding that you're getting clients pretty fast?
So we started off with this idea, I saw this need, I saw this place where there's people that are building these games and they're all, spending so much hours to build them, but no place to actually buy the source code. And at that time, you can look online and people are selling source code for all these other game types. So I thought, why not this type? And we found out pretty soon the reason why was it took a lot of time to make it. But we've invested that since 2013, 2014, 2015, and we have a product right now that is mature. And even the version that we have ready for the business buyer to release next it's amazing. We've gotten pre-buyer feedback, and they look at this and almost quote unquote, they're like, it has everything I need. So we're excited about this, but it takes that time to build up, and we've invested that time over the years. So initially, there was the time we set to build this up in 2013, and then 2014 we released it, and immediately sales. And we had actually a low price tag at that point in time. It's just $90. We've increased it since then, $390, and even this next version can actually price even more because of the amount of time saving. But that initial buyer spike was what really impressed me. Is initially we released it, and in the first month of sales, we're immediately making money. Our very first year, in fact, actually was positive. Aside for the first few months that we were spending for investment, we instantly made it back within the next 6 months. And then some. Since then, it's been a positive spin. So I'm really happy that this business, turned out to be an idea that came to fruition, that it continues to sell to this day, which is a cool point to make. That very first product in 2014 that we released still to this day sells without any edits or changes. These products are kind of developed and then they're secure and they continue their source working for developers even to this day. And although some developers come to us and say, hey, where's this feature? And we mention you bought the starter kit, you bought the first one. You really should have been looking at the pro kit or the complete kit, because now we have all those features that we spent all the additional amount of time to build in 2015, 2016. And that's, again, like the buyer comments that we had early feedback from the next version is like, oh my gosh, what you're about to release has everything I'm wanting to make.
So that's awesome that it just came to fruition. So it just seems like all the pieces just came and fit together. Is there anything you learned during the period of building this business that you're going to apply to your future businesses? Is there anything that's like just one thing that really worked well for you?
I would have to say that our sales are split 50-50 almost in a way. Roughly, it changes month to month directly through our website or through marketplaces. And the key in any sort of business is, find affiliates, find places, stores willing to sell your product. And that's, one of the key points that I take away from this one is we make money directly through our website, which is kind of how we've done other businesses in the past. But also a couple of my businesses started discovering throughout 2014, 2015 about expanding into, marketplaces, people to sell your product and they receive a commission from it. And that's actually generated a lot of revenue, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands through, the businesses that I've run. So I'm excited that that's a lesson that this business takes away, affiliates through these marketplaces or through, expansion opportunities. And I guess that's a further question to answer later on about opportunities for this business, growth through affiliates. So I'm jumping ahead.
No worries. Affiliates are for sure are a huge potential for a new buyer or even someone looking to grow their business, or just applying an affiliate program. If you do it right, it can be amazing. Of course, there could be also hassles there, so that would be interesting to learn how you manage that. So on the flip side here, what have you tried that didn't work? Is there anything that just kind of failed for you in this business?
Initially, we had, like I mentioned earlier, buyers that came to us saying, we'd like to buy your kit. I'd like to build this game, and I don't know how to program. I don't know how to develop. And so what we do at that time, back in 2015, is we just say, look, purchase our kit, and we refer you to a developer. That didn't really work out a lot. Buyers normally, fell through. They're like, well, yeah, maybe not. So what actually changed, as mentioned more recently in the past couple of months, is I took this summer in 2016 to kind of contact development companies and work with them, kind of strike a deal where they'll pay us 30% on top of what they charge. And then we have them talk directly to the buyer and be active, getting that sale. So we have someone who has incentive now to get the purchase. And instead of just getting, one purchase, one product sale, we get a large commission of, a 30% chunk of either $1,000 or $20,000 contract. So the value kind of is perfect now in terms of we didn't see this before. We thought, we'll sell products. And now we realize, well, we can sell products. And also for people that don't know how to use our product, we can sell someone to, do it for them.
Great evolution of the business, creating a second channel, a service channel. I think that's going to be pretty powerful later on down the road if the new buyer takes that seriously. Speak of traffic and earnings, you mentioned a few different marketplaces. Could you perhaps go into where your traffic is coming from? Is it like SEO organic? Is it coming from these marketplaces? Is there a lot of direct traffic or social traffic, any kind of paid stuff that you're doing?
So we have a 50-50 split on traffic. There's around 10,000 visits total for this past month. And that's actually split between our biggest marketplace and our website. So you can almost think about it, the biggest marketplace is a bonus on top of the website, because a lot of businesses just have a website and they sell through that, whether it's, Amazon affiliates or SEO focused. In terms of this site, I've actually built it to be an automated business, meaning I didn't do any SEO at all. I just put the site up, I add information onto it, and all the ranking that we've achieved, which is actually top ranking when you search for our kit or for, city building, game development source code, we're there at the top, or the first few results. Either our marketplace, our best partner, or our site is there. And we've gotten there not through any effort at all, just through literally letting things naturally change. So there's potential through paid SEO or through actually, SEO tactics to improve ranking. But I'm happy that a lot of what we achieved through time in terms of traffic has actually just been natural growth. It's from developers or people that actually want to build these games, and they find our kit. They find that, there is a possibility, because years ago there wasn't. And now with our kit, there is. And that itself, is really strong through our partner, but also our website.
That's fantastic. So we already covered the earning types and kind of the history of the business. How stable are the earnings? Do you find that they stay the same relatively, or within reason, month to month, or is there some seasonality with this where you get big upticks from something?
So we have a trend basically, and that is whenever we release a new product, it makes perfect sense when you think about it. There's a huge spike in sales. And for example, in 2015, the past launch that we had actually paid for all the development within the first 2 months. So everything we basically invested in that, and all the development we do right now is for the next product. We're always looking to the future with the outsource that I have doing the development for the next version, the next better way we can release. Whenever that happens, there's a huge spike in the first 2 months, putting that on our third-party marketplaces and our website, contacting past customers, saying, we have this new version available for an upsell price. And these are just ideas that I've had thinking about, how I can make more money from this business. Nothing special at all. Just looking at ways that make almost common sense. Like when you release a new product, you need to, let a lot of people know about it. So there's been spikes like that. And then after that, it continues on for a trend in a way. There are a couple of points in the year in which it slows down just a little bit, but not really a lot at all. It's for the most part spiking after a product launch. And then if there's a sale, for example, we had a marketplace that I mentioned earlier, the best partner we have, featured our product in February. They just contacted us out of the blue saying, we'd like to give you a 24-hour feature on our homepage with a small discount. And that month was the best month ever. that on our sales we broke 10K. We had easily an amazing sale through that partner through just 24-hour period. In fact, we got on their top 10 top grossing on their homepage just from this one 24-hour homepage period. And the good news is the partner continues to feature us throughout the year. We have another feature coming up soon for an entire week. Not, a particular main homepage, but it's a homepage on the side, part of their, birthday festival. So we have a product, a lot of buyers like, and we're getting regularly featured, which is nice to see on this.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. How much content is on your site? Are you adding articles on a monthly basis or any kind of content for that matter?
So like I mentioned earlier, businesses are best run for me to be automated without any effort. And I've never built a business with content. I built it with, just a sales brochure. You type everything, you do everything, you put the hours in, and then you leave it. And it makes money for you from that day on. That's the type of business that I run and the businesses that I build. So on the site, at most in 2015, I added, a few extra pages just to catch extra SEO content, or so I thought, it would rank in Google. And they do rank in Google. We do get a few questions here and there. We have foreign language version translations because I thought at one point in time we get people from Europe that are contacting us, from Asia that are contacting us. We have actually some major client sales from big brands in Japan that are doing mobile games. So that expansion for, translating the homepage and adding some extra pages has helped, but it's not been, a core focus. It's just been maybe an extra 5% or the actual bottom line. So I would say that the site itself is one thing you kind of set up once, just one page. And after that, you just let it do its work. People are coming. people are finding this because there's a need.
Let's pretend you were going to keep this business and you weren't going to sell it and you wanted to grow it. What would be the least risky thing that you would do?
The least risky thing in the short term is I would test and try different pricing, because honestly, the pricing that I chose right now for the product was arbitrary. I woke up Wednesday morning and I thought, let's increase the price. Well, actually, that's a little bit of a stretch. We were releasing the new product version, and we had originally the older product was sale for $290, and I thought, the next one we're going to release, let's increase it, just because it has more features, it has a lot more time. We spent a year working on the development of this, so let's put it up to $390, and we sell now at $390. Almost as much as we sell at $290. So there's a bit of price elasticity in that. In other words, you can almost charge any price as long as you don't get to the true cost in a developer's time, which estimated at around 900 to the next version being well over 1,500 hours. You're getting at $40K to $60K of value, depending on where in the world you pick your developers from. So there's a lot of leeway there, even to charge up to $900 a sale. But the higher up you get in pricing, the more buyers will come to you with questions and maybe want a Skype call or something. We get that very rarely right now. Back when we had original price earlier at $90, we got a lot of buyers, no questions at all. So the lower price you go, the more people will buy. But at the same time, the higher up you go, the more intensive people ask about it.
Right.
So right now, 390 is really an arbitrary number. It could be higher, it could be lower. In the short term, I would test for a few months, a different price tag on it. I would test different sales. I have an automated sales system right now that I built that you edit a number on a page, and automatically, regularly every week, it'll toss in a percentage sale. You say 30% sale I want to give, and every week it'll be a flash sale on the website for 30% off. And it's easy to use. It runs itself. That system allows buyers to, have their payments kind of rush in just because they're like, it's on sale right now. Exactly why I chose that percentage was just, again, arbitrary. So short-term opportunities and is definitely testing pricing. After that, it's adding service options, kind of like how I explained earlier. More recently, we contacted a development company and had them, work with us to have buyers work with them, get their projects built, and they pay us a commission from that. So that's expansion, service, as you mentioned earlier in the call. And beyond that, there's, of course, people want to actively expand with this business, adding additional features to our existing flagship products, or brands into different kits, for example, 3D game kits or different brands. These are ways to increase the already existing bottom line. These ideas of adding more products or adding more versions to our existing products is not necessary. All the revenue to this point has not been from our future. Buyers don't think like, I'm going to buy now because it's going to have more features. They're buying now because of what it already has.
Yeah. Now, what would you do if you, on the flip side here, if you were incredibly risky, threw caution to the wind, and wanted to grow this business as quickly as possible?
I would do the thing that I've probably never done with any business, and I would throw thousands and thousands into marketing. And I would do every form of marketing possible. I would go through affiliate marketing. I would give huge discounts, basically paying out large amounts, up to 75% to affiliates to gain big interest on marketplaces like ShareASale. I would go through paid SEO strategies, experimenting, different keywords. I would contact individual sites. I would go to developers themselves and say, hey, look, if you have any people who are contacting you, we'll pay you this commission to use our kit. I would basically look for every opportunity to expand our existing brand, because I'm not a brander. I'm a product builder. I make businesses that sell good enough that, automate so I can move on to the next one. And that's actually why this business is for sale, looking for a buyer that might possibly either like the good enough or want to actually, make it bigger. Like the proof in the February sale, when we got a homepage feature. The homepage feature on our partner site allowed us to reach, a 10K plus month easily through just 24 hours. And that's just because people didn't know that we existed. They couldn't find us that well as being on the homepage of a partner. So imagine what could be done with a bit of money marketing across the web in, this niche.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think the biggest risk is to this business that buyers should be aware of?
The biggest risk for this business, obviously, is, the idea that, it's technology. And a lot of buyers will look at technology businesses and be afraid of it. That was the risk that I had originally when I came up with this idea. And I saw a need there, but I didn't know anything at all about development. I didn't know anything at all about Unity, about game kits. I just knew that, I saw these games, I saw these developers, and I thought, I Googled for this, the project doesn't exist. And there's people that are making these things. So how are they making them? They're actually building it. And so why don't we build one and then basically, sell it to everyone? And that risk, kind of teaching myself, how to build this business up from that, hiring the developer for it that I knew nothing about, and trusting to the wind of that developer, to build the features. Because they looked at this, they started understanding about the product, and they're like, okay, yes, I think I know how these are made, and we can, work through this. And over the years, that kind of evolved to what we have right now, a really great product with all these features that people want to make these sort of games. So I took a huge risk not knowing anything at all about this and having everything outsourced right now so that I still don't have to know anything at all about this.
That's awesome. That kind of goes into the next question here. Can you describe the amount and type of work you're doing to maintain the business? I'm assuming I know the answer.
So it's almost a joke. But I spend probably at most 5 hours per month on this. It doesn't really seem like you should tell people about this because they look at this product, they look at stuff, and they're like, wow, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort. But there's certain special things in this world, there's certain ways you can make a special business that allow you to have freedom. I mean, that's what the whole 4-hour work week was all about.
Apparently that was too long of a work week for this business.
This smart comment. This is an epitome of that. This is the way that some businesses can be run. And mind you, I'm of course sacrificing some things from it. By working so little, I lose out on the potential of, spending all my time to reach out to people, to kind of do heavy in-depth, talking with buyers as a manager, being like, hey, features from customers, getting, interviews and feedbacks. I could be spending all this time doing that, but I'm not really one to spend my effort in terms of that much of optimization. As I mentioned earlier, I get things good enough and I have a lot of ideas to work on. So I can't be perfect with one. Perfection has to be traded in terms of having quantity. And sure. I prefer always building businesses, not really optimizing them.
So for a buyer that comes in and looks at this business, they see the potential to grow it and optimize it for themselves. Maybe that's what they like to do. What skills or requirements would you suggest for a person to have that might not be familiar with this niche at all and might not even be familiar with development at all?
The first thing is having a comfort to learn. That's definitely the first that you want to have. To have an open mind to understand that even when I first came into this business, I didn't know anything at all about this. And I have a brief, understanding about this now in terms of how things work. And I have actually opened up the Unity software. I remember my first time opening it up and actually trying our product out. And the first impression that I had was, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Pressing the play button and actually having everything work in front of you. And that I can see what buyers were seeing. So there's a bit of a, you have to understand whenever you pick up any new business, you have to go through with that little hard part in the start to kind of understand a little bit about it. So having the open-mindedness to be willing to take on something new in your life. And I guess if you're looking for a business to buy, you're already, in that accepting to be open to understanding, learning a little bit how things work. And then from there, it's just all the tricks of the trade. And in terms of the minimum amount of work that I have, that's because I've outsourced everything. The support assistant does all the work for me, connecting. We have developers that work on the projects for clients. We have a developer that works on new features for new products. And really all I do here is sit and collect paychecks. But to get get to this point, it's a little bit of that hump at the start to be like, right. So what's the product? How does this work? Oh, so you did that. Oh, you have that automated system there. It does that. That's cool. Or, oh, you have the developer, thinking up the new features, playing these games to understand. Oh, that's a good idea. I should have thought of that one too. Or the support system, now works with these clients that come to us, these messages that say, we want to build games. Now you actually refer it over to a company. That's a smart way. I didn't think about that. These are lessons that I've learned over time. We didn't do it originally good, but now we do it good. And that's kind of how I got to this point.
To begin a little bit of the wrap-up questions here, would you be willing to sign a non-compete that basically said, hey, look, thank you for buying my business. I'm not going to go out there and create this same exact business like next week?
Absolutely. I've done that before for previous sales, and it's pretty much standard in my game.
And how much support would you be willing to offer a buyer?
As mentioned on your site, I've had buyers with businesses that are kind of technical like this that have done, months worth of support. So I go from as little as 30 days to as much as 6 months of my time, whether it's a stretch from me actually being on the business, managing everything for you like I am right now, although however little it is, to training a virtual assistant to take my place or to kind of showing you what little work I do. And that itself kind of can be negotiated depending on offer price. Obviously, the more support that I'd offer would be closer to what we have on the list price.
Right. And now, obviously, the best case scenario here for Empire Flippers and for you is someone just comes in and gives all of us the money upfront for the marketplace, sales listing price. Would you be at all open to a split or earn out, say, where someone gave 70% upfront and 30% on closing, 60% upfront, and maybe 40% over a few months of hitting certain goals, like training goals or something along those lines? Would that be something you were at all open to?
It depends on the offer pricing, but that is one of the possibilities for either an all cash offer or an earnout. And again, this can be asked for depending on what the buyer offers, in addition to what they require, what tasks they need assistance with.
Excellent. Now, before I ask you my final question here, just to give a recap of the business for the audience out there watching this on either YouTube or on our listing page, this business was built in May 2013 as a monthly revenue of $7,246 with expenses sitting at $2,391 and a net profit of $4,855. That is over a 12-month average. And with the sale of this business, obviously the domain and site content will be included. All the customer records, all the products from the starter kit to the complete kit, zombie kit, and online product documentation. His team of outsourcers, the developer, support assistant, and alternative outsourcer contacts, as well as their marketplace accounts and listings such as the Unity Asset Store, Chupa Mobile, Game Gorillas, and Sell My App. So my final question for you here is, what is your best pitch in 30 seconds or less on why someone should purchase this business?
If you ever dreamed about basically living in any country, being a digital nomad, having a business that makes money, pays you a check every week, having it completely managed, this is that dream. And this is an example of the 4-hour work week without, 4 hours, less than that.
Show Tim Ferriss a thing or two.
Well, he wrote the book definitely after I had, a bunch of businesses just like this. So, I'm not one to write a book, but I've designed it kind of similar to his lifestyle.
It's awesome. I think it's a great business, very solid. There's obviously some good potential to grow it. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you want more information, the link will be below this video and it'll take you to our marketplace listing. Now, if you're watching this on our actual listing and you want more information, you can become a depositor today. It's super easy. All you have to do is click the button, make a deposit, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. So thank you so much for coming on, man. It was an absolute pleasure.
Excellent. Thank you.